something completely different to throw us off.
Oh, we'll see about that, but for now, we're starting to load right on into the band draft. But I also want to talk about this for a little bit. We saw
Please.
Doctor Strange being contested a little more towards the end of that band draft. Yesterday in playoffs, there were some teams that committed one save, one ban to make sure Doctor Strange is one-sided.
Even
and
earlier
that is
today.
wild stuff. Yeah, literally just now, currently XOXO01 are playing against Triple AD on the main channel of Marvel Rivals, and I believe, yeah, both teams have committed a ban onto the Doctor Strange. But as we navigate further and further into this ban draft, we talked about this literally at the start. Gambit being first banned everywhere. DXA, though, will commit their first save onto the Elsa Bloodstone. So far, it's been pretty constant of what we've been seeing in the past in other regions, but JFT will commit their first save on the Daredevil. That might be a little bit of a stray towards the path that we're used to.
Yeah, a little bit of a stray. We've been seeing more Daredevil, especially on Burn and T'Challa. The nooks and crannies all around benefits from the wall hacks that he has quite a bit. I'm thinking especially on Warrior Falls. He can be so lethal for backlining. It's important to note, too, that we are seeing from JFT's side triple damage amplification bans coming through. They do reserve the Invisible Woman just in case, but any sense of damage amps outside of Storm, I guess, is not going to be a possibility for DXA.
Oh, that is a interesting ban coming in from DXA, taking away the Phoenix. So if that Ultron does go through on the side of JFT, which should be likely as DXA are looking to commit their last save on the Loki, that just means that if they're gonna use the Ultron, you quite literally can't, because you don't have a reliable source of damage amplification. At this point, your best bet would be the Star-Lord, whereas JFT, they do commit bans in order to prevent the Elsa from being enabled. We've been seeing this a lot more once a team decides to commit the save, onto the Elsa Bloodstone. The other team are going to have to approach the ban draft a little bit differently because of how much this Elsa influences the entirety of that ban. Because JFT, you can see it right here, they committed a ban onto the Ultron and to the Mantis that both enable the Elsa Bloodstone. So this is going to be an Elsa that doesn't have damage amp, but then again, this is the Elsa that hasn't been nerfed yet. So that 2-second dash onto the left shift ability is already still going to be a nuisance.
I think it's worth noting, too, that we have plenty of hit scan bans against JFT. So if this Daredevil pick, or whatever Joji wants to go for, looking like the Daredevil right now, doesn't work, he's not going to have a lot of super strong options to swap off. In terms of non-brawlers, you don't have the Phoenix, you don't have the Elsa. You could, if you want to stick for hard hit scan, maybe theoretically go for Punisher or Star-Lord. But again, you're pigeonholing JFT a lot more in the macro.
Yeah, at this point, using those bans to your advantage is gotten to a point where you know what kind of composition JFT would want to go for, and it's looking oriented towards the dive. DXA do have a lot of ways to counteract it. You could have Gekt, maybe to peel with the Maelstrom of Madness. Pars has a lot of mobility to work with. Rexy and Fix have Guardian Shields. They have Dark Teleportations. They have a lot of resources to try to stall out that dive. But then again, we are in domination, so that first fight is going to be oh so important. OPWL on the Deadpool could mean the difference if he's able to get that ultimate in a timely manner.
Plenty of info gathering early on. The Star-Lord discovered, trying to sneak on by. Can't get past Tashi, though. Does escape, seemingly, barely. Having to recall back so quick, though. Pars, not a care in the world, wants to go for some early strikes. That's the first KO. Joji falls. And JFT, again, this is not the start that you're looking for. DXA are coming out swinging.
Yeah, OPWL just couldn't stack the ultimate in time. He only just now gets it. And Pars now with maximum instinct charges. He's got that 2-second dash, and he's already cooking with 3 to his name so far. And that's going to allow DXA to get the first point. And now they look. Do they want to go for the full push? Do they want to hold back for a little bit? We'll see what DXA decide to opt for, as JFT are going to hit the reset button and see if either they switch up the composition or just try to find different approaches in. They're going to have to make a lot of rotations, but Peter the Panther, oh no, you are cooked, my friend.
Oh, Panther's gone. That's unfortunate. The Star-Lord, unfortunately, just not doing enough damage. You're relying a lot on OPWL and Joji to find the majority of that on the front lines. Star-Lord needs to be there for the back line. Chip away, not damage, but Pars again can just do everything. BRB beacons out once again, dedicated to the Vanguard. Last time it was used was for Joji, and he was instantly assassinated. This is just a barrage of colors all directly onto the domination point. But the most important thing as the It's Jeff goes down, Dan, is that this still counts up for DXA.
Yeah, unfortunately, Slippery just wasn't able to slide on through to the edge of the maps, and DXA will keep on holding. This is a surprise because JFT, this is a top 3 team coming from MRC Season 6, and DXA with the top 8 finish are showing that they are here to play. They aren't messing around at all. Gact even threatening with the Eye of Agamotto. Rexy could even create space with the Eternal Bond. Winter also having CYA on the side of JFT could be huge if he's able to tie it with Joji's ultimate.
And Peter swaps over to the Punisher pick. That'll be good to help maybe destroy early on Gag's shields. Just needs a way to break through for the front line. CYA, that damage amp's going to help out quite a bit more. A yellow venom,
no.
That's something you see too often. A pool of mess all over is going to help out more, but Agamotto from the sky. Who does that get? Is that the entire backline gone? Gak is certainly good for one. Slippery's gone. Tashi finds another strategist. That is the entire backline decimated for JFT, and they're going to have to start looking for map number 2.
Yep, Portal's not going to come in time. No one is there in time to touch either. So DXA will get that shutout round 1 win up against JFT. And now we head into the second sub-map of Stellar Spaceport. Unfortunately, we're not going to get Warrior Foes unless JFT decide to lock in and clutch up for a third and final sub-map. But man, what a statement coming in from DXA, going in swinging with Pars coming up huge in that first fight as well, making sure he gets the eliminations, making sure to stack up those stacks of instinct quite quickly to make sure Pars has all the mobility he needs to just run through JFT.
It's really a battle on 2 fronts, right? You have Pars on the front line alongside Gact and the 2 strategists pumping in all those heals, but really Nev and Tashi taking an alternative route, contesting people, trying to also take that secondary route, mostly Wosh and at one point Peter the Panther too, ensuring that they could be shut down and not hurt the back line whatsoever, made things incredibly difficult for JFT, and we're seeing the hurtingness of the bans coming from JFT too. Peter now onto the Psylocke, a tertiary option when the Star-Lord and the Punisher didn't work. Hopefully this can change here with OPWL. Bring out that.
Trap.
Oh no.
Oh, it's a portal trap. Can Gak make it work?
Portal.
Oh,
Where's it going?
Where are we
Hello?
going? This is
a
some.
portal going to the
Oh,
portal?
we're just going to a portal into a portal. This is a chain reaction. All right. I mean, if it works, it works. I mean, they're just gonna go in swinging. First fight again, very very important. DXA are gonna use the Freedom Charge into the Devil Out, but is not gonna find any eliminations just yet. OPWL goes in, stuns up the strategist of DXA, and they both go down. JFT will win this first fight.
Pars is soloing the entirety of JFT. This is unbelievable. Doji's there for the follow-ups. Don't get me wrong, a beautiful quad in his name. Okay. Well, DXA, they had a strong start, but Joji for the follow-up just saved the day.
This is a great start for JFT. First fight win. They're running dive as well, so if they're able to get that mission area, they can do whatever the hell they want in terms of how much space they want to give, how much of that dive potential they want to do, and look at how much this enables JFT. They're able to get the space they need. Joji's even threatening the backline, but Tashi is there to spot him out because both teams will have a Daredevil at their disposal. Fix will commit the invisible boundary. Slippery is there with the Fate of both worlds, but with the Winter threatening a second wave of strategist ultimates, Rexy needs to come up huge here.
Beautiful work off of Dance of the Butterflies, threatening out Fix's invisible boundary, not on sight. Instead, Winter could do the same on top of an Agamotto, maybe for the counter. Eternal Bot is out for a counter again. But beautiful work overall. Ult management for both these teams has been sound outside of Fix, but then again, when it comes to the group fights, it's all DXA.
And Rexy comes up huge, provides a path for DXA to walk on in. Gact even committing the Eye of Agamotto to take out Slippery inside of the invisible boundary. So if that boundary does go down, it's going to be all up to Winter to provide all of the healing for JFT, and it just wasn't enough for him to handle, as DXA will complete the retake and will go for the full core press. Now JFT with less map space, it's going to be a little bit harder to facilitate this dive.
Really curious where OPWL is going to bring out this Agamotto. If I'm DXA, I'm trying to force out that option very early on, pull a fix, and make that ult used directly in these small rooms. Can't use it on point.
You can't. Pars even having the Apex Predator available as well. DXA have their next rotation of Freedom Charge into Devil Out. It has been a very devastating combo that DXA have been using. Whereas JFT, they do have a lot of ultimates as well. Jody's going to kick things off with the Devil Out.
Devil's out, baby! Who can be found inside? Agamotto used in the small room, not on point. Peter the Panther from down below can't find Cutterfly just yet, but still a meltdown. Shutting down Daredevil mid-ult is what you want, and it's JFT again.
Huge retake. DXA, we're trying to rely on the win condition of the Daredevil, comboing it with the Captain ultimate. Now JFT. With 66 and climbing, DXA will have ultimates to work with. Peter the Panther has to shut it down quickly, but DXA already have it. Is it going to be target focus? Is it going to be the neutral area being taken over? We're going to see as Tashi already finding Peter the Panther. That is absolutely insane.
Wonderful work. Can he take down his doppelganger, though? Two devils fighting each other, but one soon to fall? No. A disengage. Instead, choosing to go for the majority of the group. Doji wants to rack up, letting the devil out very early on. Pars is still around. That's
a huge pick.
What a surprise, but a freeze comes through, Dan. You're absolutely right. A freeze stops the Elsa in her tracks, but Pars just keeps on going. Pars and Gact have completely dominated the KO feed for DXA.
Ooh, this is looking very push and pull. Huge pick coming in from Pars to take out the Invisible Woman before the Invisible Boundary was able to be expired. So, huge look, and that allows DXA to get a little bit more value out of their own Invisible Boundary because Fix was able to preserve his life, and now DXA pushing on forward. They're going to have to find a way to counteract what could be an insane retake coming in from JFT. Peter the Panther and OPWL could come up huge on top of Slippery, who does have to fade of both worlds, but Winter is being chased down by two members of DXA.
Oh, the back line destroyed. That's Tashi gone, forcing out Eternal Bond. 98% overtime out. Pars once again finds much more impact. The fate of both worlds counters directly on point.
Great push.
Agamotto directly into the back line. A second eye. Now we can truly see. But speaking of the lack thereof, that's Tashi to remove Joji. That's good. And DXA, once again, they're finding that consistency. Even with JFT finding so much extra value in this second point, they are still falling short. Yellow Beam is out. Once again, gripped by the Venom. Pars destroys the tendrils away. But challenging that back line, getting rid of these strategists is going to be the piece of the puzzle that DXA need to complete a beautiful picture that is game one.
Oh my goodness. JFT, they had a chance to come back there, but unfortunately DXA just win out on the tail end of that second round. It got to 99-99. Great looks by JFT, starting to warm up a little bit, but just weren't able to capitalize on that final fight. They had a chance to get the portal down, but unfortunately didn't come in time, wasn't able to save the team. I don't think there was any resources for JFT to even make it through the portal relatively safely.
No.
I think the best thing you have is either a Strategist Ultimate, which probably likely wasn't available, or an Adam Warlock swap into the Soul Bond. That's probably your next best option. But man, DXA, they have definitely stepped up their game. They got an unfavorable matchup against Genji back in day 1 yesterday, but coming into day 2, going up against the third best coming out of MRC Season 6, this is already a great look for DXA.
Look, if you're in chat and you're a DXA enjoyer all the way back from the MRC days, you're really not sweating the loss against Genji, at least not yet. They probably the best team in the groups. It's hard to beat them out because they've just had that historical run. But DXA being a top 8, one of the lower placing teams to barely squeak through getting that Ignite qualification, beating game 1 against JFT, a very healthy third place winning team for that same run, that's absolutely a dub for them in their books. It's just a matter now if that's only going to be a domination run, or maybe can that continue into the next match.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see, because JFT now have a chance to pick a map of their choosings, and this is a best of 3. I know Asia playoffs are in a best of 5 kind of scenario at the current moment, but we're gonna have to see what JFT decide to cook up, because that first round looked really, really rough in map 1.
Yeah, I think a lot of that came down to the lack of synergy when it came to the team's cohesion. Once we saw Peter the Panther not putting the blame entirely on him, once we saw that switch over to the Psylocke away from the other hit scans, JFT, despite losing, looked so much better, Dan.
Yeah, but and DXA, it's got to be all credit to Pars popping off on the Elsa Blood Zone in that first fight, and that momentum just kept on going, and they just didn't look back. We'll see if DXA decide to keep that momentum as we head into map 2, so we're going to go to a break, so don't go anywhere, we'll be right back.
Dracula wishes to reclaim my city. You call yourselves New York's guardians. Now is the time to prove it. Thank you very much. Slice and dice. Ancestral sword. Strike! From touch. Taste cold steel. Time to make the undead dead again. Curse thee, vile creature! Well done. Perhaps I'll give you the key to the city after this.
I shall feast on your bones! Ratatosker? What did Dracula do to you? You've got to fight, girl!
You truly believe yourself my equal? Pathetic. You have my thanks, but your vigilante antics have violated the law. You're under arrest.
Will Daredevil be banned again? Will Elsa be let through in the drafts? Plenty of questions, no answers yet until we get into game number 2. My name is Keg, and I'm joined by Dan again. We get to see if DXA can make magic happen twice.
We'll see about that, because DXA were able to get the one-sided Elsa through, and that proved to be insanely valuable. DXA, back in round 1 of map number 1, just had the Elsa pop off, go KO, and they just won outright because of it. And now JFT losing out on map number 1. Now the ball is in their court. What map do they choose for map number 2? And we get our answer literally right as I talk about it. It's going to be Araco, a popular choice here in the Oceania region. It's already been picked twice back in day 1, and now we see it a third time in the Oceania stage.
Hey, we talked about if you're a fan of DXA, that was a fantastic map 1 for you, but if you're a JFT enjoyer, you are singing the praises of this map choice. This was the only map that this team had won versus Kanga yesterday, and it was a healthy 3-0.
Oh, wow. Yep. If it's a full push into a full hold, that is already a testament to how well JFT are playing on that map in particular, because quite frankly, this is one of the more unpopular maps in other regions as well, right? Americas, EMEA, they all haven't really ran Araco a whole lot. But in Asia, we know XOXO01 there, shouts to them, really love their Araco. We saw them cook all the way back in day 1 of preseason when they rolled out on the Black Panther, the Hulk, the Doctor Strange, and the Magic. And that is already insane of a combo to just go off the rip with.
I'm thinking right now, just off the top of my head, do you think the reason why teams don't like to run Araco as much is that it's like museum, but just wider, less environmental room?
Yeah, more environmental room, more chance for environmental KOs, especially at the halfway point before the first checkpoint. But Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really short corridors that a lot of teams really didn't want to go for. Back then, there was also very dive heavy. So if a lot of teams are just going to bunker up in a bunch of those small rooms that are very, very present on Araco, it's going to be really hard for dive to go in. I feel like that's one of the reasons why a lot of teams haven't really been going for Araco as much, because there's just too many ways to counter what was the dive meta being so popular at the time.
Hey, let's see if that continues again. We're heading into game number 2 now. Bans and drafts starting momentarily. Will Elsa be allowed? It's going to be a double Gambit ban to start things off. That's a given, but this first reserve from JFT could spell the entire story.
We'll see. JFT haven't really committed the Gambit ban. They're thinking about it, but no, yeah, you literally can't get the Gambit through. If it's one-sided, it's going to be so difficult to work with. So JFT not gonna take any second chances, which does allow JFT to get the Elsa for themselves. Is it going to be one-sided is the big question here.
I don't know. Mantis
I don't
bans
think so.
out.
Depends on what DXA decide to save here.
Honestly, I think
Okay.
they have to go for another Elsa.
All right, so I mean, there's a world this becomes a full mirror at this point. At this point, just ban anything that enables the Elsa Bloodstone. So both sides will ban out the Mantis. Do we see a Loki ban? Do we see Ultron getting taken away? Ultron, I'd argue, isn't the best option here, but Loki could be beneficial, especially if you don't want teams running that cloaky backline.
I'm being contrarian to you, Dan. I think Ultron can be good attacker side of Rocco just because you can hide in a lot of those corners, but Wolverine ban is good anti-backline. Have to worry about the brawlers now with a giant funnel on a convoy map like this. I'm not against that.
Yeah, I'm not against it at all. JFT will take away the Invisible Woman, so there's a high chance that DXA are going to run the Loki and the Cloak and Dagger. Are JFT going to match the Wolverine ban?
They do. Now,
All right.
I mean, we can see the hovers. The teams can't see each other's hovers. I wonder what Peter the Panther would run. Gee,
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know, man. He's kind of hovering something similar to a panther. I don't know for sure, but
it was
in
actually
the end,
Peter Panther.
DXA though.
Oh, come on.
I mean, if the Elsa's there, you gotta take it. Like, you can't just give it up. I mean,
That's
it
the
would
new
be
Peter Panther.
It would be a ballsy move to give up the Elsa to play Black Panther instead. But
That's
DXA
true.
though will commit
XO
their
did it.
final ban. They commit their final ban onto the Vanguard Deadpool, so they finish strong in the ban draft here, as both sides will get access to the Elsa Bloodstone. Daredevil also sliding through in the ban draft as well, and so does the Loki for both sides.
I think the pressure needs to be out now for JFT on this next matchup to watch out for the duelists. Obviously, yes, the Elsa was not available back on Burn and T'Challa. A lot of hit scans were also removed for DXA. It worked out well for them. But JFT, a lot of hit scans were banned out for JFT's side. Peter was forced to go for Psylocke, Star-Lord, and Punisher, and really only the Psylocke found value. If we can see the same magic Pars found on Elsa happen for Peter the Panther, we could be in for a long series, man.
Yeah, this could be absolutely of a banger. JFT, they do choose the attacking side for now, so we'll see what their initial rollout will be. They're gonna put Wosh on the Angela to provide a little bit more disruption, maybe to manipulate the line of sight on the side of DXA. We'll see how DXA decide to counter it, because they've got a lot of anti-dive measures. Gact on the Magneto, Nev on the Captain America as well. Fix even running the Loki to, at the very least, counteract it. And with Tashi getting that first pick on the Slippery, DXA's momentum already going off strong.
Deal's been broken. First KO is out. That's a strategist down for JFT, but at least they don't have far to go with a near spawn hold immediately. Maybe a reason why we don't see teams play Araco as much is that it's wide open as soon as you leave that initial spawn point. It's one of the hardest times in the entire game to get that early value. Speaking of which, though, that's going to be a dip and destroy against Pars. Wosh, great revenge for game 1.
Yep, great pick with the Assassin's Charge. Now looking for another great bubble coming from Gak to prevent himself from getting skewered. So Wosh needs to just peel for the team for a little bit, wait for that charge to get back online, ready to go. as JFT still poking and prodding, trying to find some sort of ultimate to work with, as Peter the Panther already nearing closer and closer to the Apex Predator. Winter as well, getting close to the God of Mischief. It's going to be a race between the Lokis, but with JFT just coming in, guns blazing, that ultimate race just goes out the window.
Yeah, again, this spawn hold's so important for defending teams. Not to worry anymore, though. JFT have broken it in spades. Another one down. That's gacked away. And nobody on DXA have found their proper footing yet in this matchup. That's first point.
Oh my god. Yep, first point, quick as you like it, without using a single ultimate because of how fast JFT were playing. And there you go. Now with ultimates coming online, you already have a point to your name, so you're comfortable with contesting some of these ultimates. But it's just a matter of, can JFT keep the convoy rolling on through? Because if they get stabilized by a great retake by DXA, it's going to be hard for JFT to, at the very least, get a foothold onto the convoy, because this second point of Araco is notorious because of that uphill battle that JFT need to go for.
I feel like every point of Araco is notorious one way or another. That's Tashi again, though, terrorizing the back line. He's able to peel out just in time and terrorize Nev, too. Oh, I apologize, not Nev, Woj. That's going to be huge.
Oh, no.
Oh, Apex Predator right down the funnel. That's Panther doing it again. Mr. Peter. Put a name to it. That's unbelievable. The entirety of DXA wiped out.
Hey, and you said you needed Peter the Panther to get the magic that Pars had back in map 1, and there you go. You get just that multi-man ultimate coming from Peter Panther. That's only one ultimate invested on the side of JFT, and with both sides having so many ultimates at their disposal, do we see an ult dump here in this next fight?
It's the nuclear arsenal from JFT being brought out, mutually assured destruction, as we see Rex bring out the meteor, the eternal bond. It's making my brain lobotomized. There's so many colors at one stand, but through it all, eternal bond survives the meteor, and I was waiting to see if this light would connect. It did not, but through it all, though, letting the devil out, a second meteor M does not connect. It's blocked by the shield, but it doesn't end there. There's another Apex Predator. So many ultimates at once, and Pars makes it work. It is a blender, and we are making JFT stew.
This is a really important fight win for DXA. Both sides invested everything that they had. Yeah, it keeps going. Pars looking magical in the final tail end. Yeah, no one is going to be able to escape the hands of Pars, just ripping through JFT. But again, huge fight win for DXA, I'm sorry, because now they're able to stabilize. JFT are going to have to build up that ultimate economy unless Peter the Panther comes up clutch here, as Nev already takes down one maybe, but the Guardian Shield is able to help him out.
Nev is in such a scary spot. I'm not sure if any strategist can reach him for heals. He'll have to peel back immediately. And Tashi falls. That's good for JFT to find their heel in the ground again to get back onto the convoy. Again, this has been largely dictated by strategist ults and how the Elsa ults can impact each other. Joji's good for one, that's got gone, and terrorizing again the entire back line, forcing these defenders near to their own spawn as that convoy reaches the end of P2. It's exactly where you want to be. Portal.
DXA are struggling in the neutral area. Portal does come in just in time. But is it enough? There isn't any option for DXA to, at the very least, contest and brawl this fight out because they don't have any ultimates to work with. All they had was a Loki Green, and that's about it. Joji goes insane with a triple, and this Daredevil needs to be stopped, but he just keeps putting down the gavel.
That's P2 going to JFT. What could possibly happen here? We've moved away from Daredevil territory a while ago from DXA. Tashi now on the Ultron, may be able to get that long range against the Daredevil, make him not nearly as big of a target in case he wants to overextend again. But Amajamp against Pars, or for Pars I should say, would be huge.
Yeah, and Tashi going up into the sky as the Ultron means that JFT are going to have to find different ways to shut down the Ultron. Pars now has access to some sort of damage amplification, but with the Eternal Bond and the Meteor M contesting each other, it's going to be the Eternal Bonds coming out on top as Apex Predator comes in, but with Bartrox being at 1 HP, it's not going to matter too much. Rexy now going in with the Eternal Bond. Wosh is there to counteract. Winter could get a better second cast of the Invisible Boundary, but no, it's just going to be used to neutralize as Tashi on into the sky with the Rage of Ultron. It's just a war of attrition. Who comes out on top here is Rexy already going down to Peter the Panther.
Another nuclear war, Dan. No survivors again. Everyone else who can survive heavily damaged is gacked. Still with the Meteor M on the bay, letting the devil out now. Joji looking once more revenge as he dips on down below, tries to outlast the Meteor M, and Gak barely bubbles himself to survive, but it might not last. Blast to the face, Peter's there, the Panther is way up, and now a matter of getting past this dip down below, getting around the final corner. A minute 30 left on the clock, still plenty of time to make it work.
Yeah, that bottom area right before third is so hard to get through, but JFT are able to break on through. Yeah, they've gotten past it. Now they're getting closer and closer to that full push potential, but right now we're in a state where it's all going to be down to the neutral fight as Slippery only 20% away. Par is getting closer and closer to that Apex Predator, and so does Fix with the God of Mischief.
Boy.
So now with ultimates coming in, who comes out here on top?
Predator, maybe. Tashi's down below, nearly had the snipe on the Captain America. Whoosh and Slippery fall. Gak and Tashi are there. Gak for the double. Make that a triple. This is absolutely what we want. The introduction for OCE to the world to see. And DXA once again have shut down these attackers.
All right, DXA, they stabilize, but they haven't been stabilizing for long. As soon as DXA went out of fight, JFT come in swinging for wave 2 of a retake attempt. And with now JFT, look at how close everyone is to their ultimates compared to DXA. All they have on the side of DXA, yeah, it's Ultron ultimates coming up. God of Mischief's coming closer and closer to the ready. But right now, I think the attacking side has the upper hand here.
Let's see, though. They have to round this final corner, and the Tree Man absolutely makes it. Eternal Bond out, divided out by an invisible boundary, and through it all, Apex Predator back line. That's Fixed gone. Eternal Boundary gone. What can happen from here? Peter the Panther continues his reign of terror, needs to find it through despite all the ultimates. Another invisible boundary has come down. Rexy set up for the Eternal Bond. Could be set up and ready to go, but the damage amp is out. Peter the Panther relying on this Ultron as much as he humanly can. But Tashi's hiding. Does not want to be sniped out here. Gets caught out by Peter the Panther. It was a blind spot. Rage of Ultron. The robots are angry. But through it all, still holding on. Overtime. The yellow beam is out. Can it be enough? Who could hold on? Peter Pars up the top. Elsa duel. Pars wins it out. Shows who the better Elsa could be. But again, damage out. No strategist alive. Slippery barely clinging on with Winter, hoping for dear God that they can make it
Meteor,
through. Meteor M, Eternal Bond, Portal.
Doesn't find it. Doesn't find it. Portal does come in.
Peter
Portal's
the
gonna go.
not on Elsa. Don't
Yeah, he can't.
Back onto the Daredevil. You're damage amping nobody. And through it all, the tree says no Portal today. I do not care. And all the back line severed, hemorrhaged, looking to get back into a cohesive unit.
Oh, no.
Smack to the brain, and there's no way back.
I don't think JFT were able to step foot onto the site. They had all the sustain. DXA were able to push them away. What an overtime fight from both sides. Both teams just had so much sustain. They had Captain America Ultimate, they had Loki, they have Cloak and Dagger, they have Ultron. That's 4 sustain ultimates throughout that entire fight, and both sides just could not shut down one or the other. It all came down to either OPWL or GACT on the Magnetos respectively to shut down at the very least one of the Cloak and Dagger or the Loki ultimates, but that just could not happen. Both of these teams just playing to absolute perfection. Overtime goes so long, but unfortunately, it came down to where JFT just couldn't stay on the convoy, and they had to miss out on that full push.
I just love that we saw so many very wild hero changes coming out, especially from JFT side. The Ultron swap, the portal from Joji's side, the team willingness to move away from what seems like some of the strongest, at least damage dealers on your team for that sustain really goes to show that it's a group effort.
Group effort indeed. But now the side swap, DXA just have to match what JFT did. But with JFT not completing the full push, we're not going to need extra innings in this entire map. Once DXA are able to match, they win out here in a convincing 2-0 fashion. But right now, the job is only half done. DXA need to match that push.
Yeah, it's a matter now to see how this plays out. Once again, Tashi's going to remain on the Ultron. We do have Wosh still on the defensive Angela this time around. The amount of disrupt you can get when Spawn's that close makes me wonder if this is worth it.
I mean, with the environmental KO potential that Wosh has right now on the Angela, I'd imagine as soon as DXA get closer and closer to that first checkpoint, or even achieve that first checkpoint, I'd assume Wosh will swap out of the Angela. Just right here, right now, is where Angela does shine the brightest, because you're able to get the Assassin's Charge down into the Abyss. We saw him do it back in that first round, and he's looking to do it again. Yeah, there's a lot of room as well, but I think DXA know what the plan is for Wosh, so they're just going to be able to get onto the left side of the cliff, make sure that they have enough leverage to counter that Assassin's Charge, and with Pars taking down Winter, momentum is starting to swing towards DXA.
I was really worried that JFT were giving up very valuable space off of that potential spawn hold just to allow the Angel to maybe get the Assassin's Charge. Unfortunately, though, Convoy rounds that corner. Not one to be seen. Do we see that swap?
Not just yet. He can't really go back into the spawn room to change. That's waste too much time. He's still fishing for some sort of kidnap, but everyone on DXA are bunkered up, but if you're bunkered up like that, you're just gonna fall victim to the Glartrox, but Gak goes down because of Glartrox, so now the momentum is starting to swing for JFT.
Okay, JFT finding their footing now, sending everybody what seems like back to their spawn. Convoy's nowhere near them anymore, and there's not a care in the world. Damage Amp is back out. Tashi actually has a great counter to the Angela by also flying. Gonna be tough to allow this Elsa, even though it's hit scan, you'd have to divide your crosshair away to focus on the flyer in the sky. Beautiful work overall. That's gonna be the changeover into the Ultron, it seems. Couldn't work well. Rage of Ultron is out. Joji up into the sky. Has plenty to work with here. But can you snipe Daredevil? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. The devil is gone.
He does find the Ultron, now finds the Cloak and Dagger. Not much healing available on DXA. They don't even commit ultimates to, at the very least, keep this fight going because they know it's already cooked. With Tashi going down, and so does Rexy, just means that DXA quickly hit the reset button. They do have 90 seconds to work with, so there's still time for a retake attempt. But with JFT, all eyes are going to be on OPWL with this Meteor M.
Yeah, Meteor M. I'm expecting Rexy to bring out that Eternal Bond, and if that doesn't work out, there's no contingency plan. Rage of Ultron's not the same, and Fix is nowhere close to getting God of Mischief. There it is, though.
Oh, wow.
Heaven, maybe getting the Retribution off of the invisible boundary. Here comes the moment we've all been waiting for.
Oh, great bubble!
Does not find it. What a save! That's the Eternal Bond laying its carpet down all over P1. That's what you want. Invisible boundary down once again. Cinematic view. Seeing the force pushed back by these defenders. 45 seconds left into a small room. This is Joji's time to shine. Him and Winter, a duel of death, finding more impact.
The XA just need to bunker up. They don't have an opportunity to do that. Once they push on forward, JFT just get the dive onto the backline. They're not giving DXA time to set up down into those small rooms because that's where dive doesn't really shine as much. This is a Racco. There's a lot of places to do that. But with 20 seconds left, DXA need to get in position quickly or else they just get cooked outright because Pars with the Apex Predator is going to be uncontested. But with Wosh taking them down, that's already huge for JFT.
Yeah, this is looking great for JFT. Needs to be major changes right now. 7 seconds left. Doctor Strange is available. Gak already makes that swap, but I think it's far, far too late. Can somebody touch this convoy? Yes, they can. Will that be enough, though? Unfortunately, not long for this world. That's one Vanguard, a pivotal one gone. Yellow bar going down very quickly. Gact is there, seemingly alone. Does have friends coming along the wayside, but will that be enough? The devil is inside the portal. And through it all, it's going to be Eternal Bond. Will help move things forward. Peter the Panther is there to roar again, sending away so many of these attackers off of the convoy, allowing that yellow bar to drain even more. Seems like one left, soon to be 0. Full cap. We go to game 3.
We need a third to separate these two. Great hold coming in from JFT, not giving DXA time to bunker up in those small rooms, and JFT, they just go for the dive. They don't give them room to set up. They just bring the fight to JFT, and now we need one more map. This is already a spicy MRC rematch we're looking at right now.
Yeah, we had such a hard time calling how this first matchup would go. I think all the others are a little bit more predictable about what the outcome could be, but the fact that this is going to map 3, we had no idea who could win this one out, and it goes to show that both these teams have leveled up considerably since their last seen MRC run.
I mean, you gotta give shout out to Joji and Peter the Panther. They both came up huge. Joji was able to find the disruption into the backline and getting the final hit as well. 18 to his name with 22,000 damage to boot as well. And then there's Peter the Panther going toe-to-toe with Pars. Both these Elsas have been showing that this is why they're the ones piloting the Elsa Bloodstone, the server admin, you could argue, of this entire lobby. With Peter the Panther, 13 final hits, 36,000 damage as well. He has just been that consistent cornerstone that JFT were just able to rely on.
Even if the MVP goes to Winter, and I don't blame them, that's a pretty good choice, Peter the Panther getting 41 total elims and only 2 KOs is such a huge stat line compared to everybody else in the lobby. And remember, JFT had Elsa banned against them in Game 1. We didn't see this Peter show up at all. You have to wonder, okay, as we go into Game 3, surely the Elsa gets banned out, right?
I mean, maybe? Do they want to go that far? Or do they want to go that early in terms of taking away the Elsa? Because, I mean, we saw trends over in the Asia region, right? The Mantis being more contested over the Elsa Bloodstone, but I think here in OCE, a lot of teams really want that one-sided Elsa Bloodstone, but for now, we're gonna have to see what DXA and JFT decide to cook up, and maybe the Elsa finally gets taken away. Maybe the Mantis shines through instead. Maybe they decide to ban it first and let the Gambit through, because quite frankly, he has been non-existent this entire weekend so far.
Yeah, definitely a lot of decisions have to make. This first reserve off of both of these teams could be absolutely pivotal about how it all plays out. We have one more matchup in our first matchup of the day. Don't go anywhere. We got to see how map 3 plays out. We'll be right back.
Dracula wishes to reclaim my city. You call yourselves New York's guardians. Now is the time to prove it. Thank you very much. Slice and dice. Ancestral sword. Strike! Taste cold steel. Time to make the undead dead again. Curse thee, vile creature! Well done. Perhaps I'll give you the key to the city after this.
I shall feast on your bones! Ratatosker? What did Dracula do to you? You've got to fight, girl!
You truly believe yourself my equal? Pathetic. You have my thanks, but your vigilante antics have violated the law. You're under arrest.
Nothing but surprises today, my friends. Who's to say map 3 won't be a banger just like the last two have been? DXA versus JFT and MRC's Season 6 rematch. New names, same teams, facing off once again in Ignite Preseason. I don't know what to expect, Dan.
I mean, we're effectively now in a best-of-1 situation. Both teams get a map to their name, and now we head into a third. And again, you talked about it a little bit, right? This is an MRC rematch. These teams have played each other before, back in MRC Season 6. And it feels like it's been like an eternity away now at this point. And now both teams getting a taste of Ignite action with the Ignite Band Draft. All questions are on how these teams want to facilitate the band draft. Do you want to go for the Elsa 1v1 again, or do you want to take it away this time around? Because that's really where it's going to come down to. We're going to have to pay attention a lot in the first half.
I guess it really depends on what you think the win condition was for JFT. Was it solely Peter the Panther being on the Elsa, or was it a lot of the enablement of the people around him too? Ours does wonders on Elsa, but considering he got 30 less elims compared to Peter the Panther, you have to wonder, is it just him, or is it everyone else, you know, really building him up?
We're out to see, because, I mean, if you do let the Elsa Bloodstone through, you just take a different approach. You take away stuff that enables the Elsa Bloodstone. That's where the branches of band draft stray away, but if the Mantis...
I've seen your flowchart.
Yeah, you've seen my flowchart. It's looking like several different directions at the same time, but thankfully, if the Mantis does get saved instead of the Elsa Bloodstone, you have a lot of ways to facilitate the band draft. You don't really show the other team your hand of what kind of win condition you want to go for, and with Mantis, you can either maybe use the Elsa Bloodstone if it ever does go through. That hasn't been the case if the Mantis is first saved for the most part, but if anything like that happens, Mantis just enables so much of the team, and especially if you get that one-sided, you essentially have a huge advantage with that 12% damage boost.
Yeah, damned if you do and damned if you don't, man. Like, do you ban the Elsa first and allow the Gambit through? No matter what, it feels like JFT had a huge advantage here, at least for the starting part of the draft, so curious to see how it plays out. We know that Central Park is going to be our last match of the series. It's going to be Convergence. So far, DXA, they haven't played Convergence at all in preseason.
Yep, I mean, they lost out 2-0 against Gen G, so they weren't given a chance to go for a third and final map if they even wanted to. DXA even chose Convoy that time around. So we'll see how DXA play out in Convergence. Again, this is their first look at Convergence here in the Ignite stage as we head into the band draft very soon enough. Central Park going to be where we settle which team is going to come out on top, because quite frankly, with a performance out of DXA back in map 1, it could be anyone's game at this point.
It really could be. I don't know how I'd call this one. It goes down to both ways. I mean, we saw DXA have a pretty dominant win on the domination map, and we'd seen JFT win Convoy very convincingly. Believe it or not, Convergence has both of these. So if DXA's defense holds out well and keeps it on the domination part of this map only, I could see this going 2-1 in their favor.
There is a world, but so far, the world that we've seen time and time again is both DXA and JFT are likely going to secure the Elsa for both sides, and then JFT likely will commit the Mantis ban.
Yeah, nothing too different yet. It's the same exact bans we saw back on Araco.
Yep, and now this is where the band draft decides to be like, yeah, let's stray away for a little bit. As DXA, they take away Joji's Daredevil.
That's really strong. I'm not sure where Joji's going to go from here. I imagine the Wolverine could be a solid choice. They can't ban out the Wolverine against DXA anymore, but that should be the natural follow-up.
Yep, JFT will commit their final ban onto the Loki as well, so DXA won't have access to the Cloak Loki composition in the backline. So questions now are on DXA. What kind of strategist lineup do you want to go with? You don't have access to Loki. You don't have access to the Invisible Woman. So your next best bet would probably be the Luna Snow. But what do you complement the Luna Snow with? Maybe the White Fox, maybe some sort of triple strategist lineup that DXA could look to go for. As JFT, though, they have a lot of different options. They have access to the one side of Loki. They even have Jeff if they want to commit the Vanguard, Deadpool, and the Venom. So
Okay.
again, JFT, I feel like win out here in this band draft.
DXA are going double-double, though. 3 Vanguards, 3 Strategists. You have the White Fox, you have the Cloak and Dagger, and the Atom. A lot of good resurrection potential here.
We'll see what DXA do decide to roll out on. We're able to get a good idea of what DXA want to go for, whereas JFT, they're still in attacker spawn, so they can still shuffle around their composition if they so choose to. But right now, we see the final rollout for DXA. They're going to commit the Rocket Raccoon and the Atom Warlock, so a lot of resurrection potential coming in from DXA. But the win condition really does come down to Pars if he's, one, able to stack up the ultimate quickly and efficiently, and if Pars is able to stay alive, because JFT, once they realize that this team is playing around the Atom Warlock, they're going to try to find Pars as quickly as possible. But it's going to be a little bit more difficult because JFT don't have access to that Daredevil to scout him out.
That's right, but there's not a lot of room to go around either. It's just a simple castle, and Joji, as long as he can get that distance in, has the Wolverine to backline and find someone like that Pars very quickly. There it is, though.
Oh,
Portal's
they found
out.
the BRB.
Beacon is gone. Backlining completely. Any safe spot that this Atom could have relied on is gone.
Yep, and most teams would go towards the high ground and just spread around, but it looks like JFT go for a different approach. They instead bunker down and try to flip the spawns of DXA so that now it looks like DXA are on the attacking side. They're going to have to take position in the main area as JFT finally getting things open. Great Pharaoh leap, but Tashi's able to trade out Joji. Pars is back thanks to the Cocoon, and the Soul Bond keeping DXA alive means that this fight should be winnable.
One tick down, JFT already looking dominant here. Again, the fact Peter the Panther feeling so much more confident than we saw back on game 1. The Elsa availables making it so useful for them. Joji on that Wolverine, though, slicing and dicing away. Can he find much impact? He does. No Cocoon available for Pars anymore. A great start with Feral Leap taking down what seems like at least this positioning, this Angela. Follow-through's not there, though. He'll back up Tashi's side. Another Vanguard gone, though, from DXA. They're struggling to keep these defenders afloat.
Yeah, ultimates are getting closer and closer to the attacking side. I don't think the Atom Warlock is close enough to get that ultimate ready to go. Well, Pars is actually at 98.99, but him going down is already bad news. JFT will secure first point.
Peter the Panther, though, once again shows how he can panther things up. That's going to be 5 minutes on the clock.
5 minutes in the bank. JFT have a lot of ultimates. If they make the first move here, there's a chance that if they're able to catch out Rexy somehow, some way, what a clap down coming in from Wosh as well. But Rexy, he's going to have to come up huge with the Eternal Bond, but with so many threats on the side of JFT, it's going to be really risky, because surely JFT make the first move, try to bait out Rexy's ultimate, and then try to shut it down as quickly as possible so that the rest of DXA go down to other ultimates at their disposal.
Always a big fan of JFT, holding on to their nuclear arsenal, building it all up for this final slay. Eternal Bond is out, and JFT can do whatever they want. Witcher brings out Eternal Bond. That's Monster Hulk in return. Tashi is swapped off of the Wolverine, goes into the Ultron. Soon to get that damage amplification. Will that be enough as an Agamotto comes on down? White Fox repositions, and through it all, it is still JFT City. They're going to have to rename New York after them. It's looking great.
I feel like it was a little bit overkill for JFT. They used so many of their ultimates, I feel like it wasn't really quite
all of
necessary.
Them, except for one.
Yeah, they used literally everything except Slippery. So now it's essentially flipped. The concept now with DXA having the better ultimate economy means that Slippery, again, now will have to come up huge with this Eternal Bond if they even need it, because JFT, they've already secured second.
Yeah, there's no Meteor M on JFT's side to shut down any potential for, say, Rexy's ultimate if it comes on forwards. Meteor M is available from Gakt, though, but Gakt is not alive. As long as you can continue to maintain this distance, force out Meteor M early, Slippery has free real estate to use that Eternal Bond whenever they want.
Yeah, Slippery could use it whenever he wants, but he needs to be careful where he places the Eternal Bond and put himself in a position to make sure that he doesn't get taken down by a one-tap potential of Gakt on the Meteor M. Nev could also threaten with the clobbering time as well, but with DXA, with a lot of ultimates, JFT need to find ways to delay the aggressive moves coming in from DXA, because I'm sure DXA would want to make that first move.
I mean, with the amount of distance left that DXA have to defend, even if they use all 5 of these ults, starting with the Apex Predator, there's still 4 minutes on the clock. Eternal Bond is out, shut down by Gakt, Meteor M. That's 2 of the ultimates from DXA gone. Nev and Fix,
I
I'm
mean-
watching those Kumiho and the clobbering time. That could be huge.
I mean, I think this is fine for JFT. They have a lot of time to work with. They can just hit the reset button, find more time to stack up those ultimates, and then look for a second opportunity to go for the ultimate dump again. I mean, that's how they secured second.
That's true.
Surely that's going to be a way to get the third, but DXA do have countermeasures this time around, and with Peter the Panther going down, the push is going to be delayed for just a few more seconds.
And you can wait it out if you're JFT. 3.5 minutes on the clock. Plenty of time for Wosh and Joji to get their ults back online. Joji gets flown a whole
Oh, wow.
football
Oh,
field
that's
away.
huge.
Takes
That
down
is huge.
Fix. And now, when we see that reinitiation for Peter the Panther, Fix will not be there.
Fix is going to be there to sustain the team with the Kumio Unleashed. Tashi, thankfully, does have the Rage of Ultron if he needs to. He will use it, but Winter is there to counteract. DXA still have a lot of ultimates to crowd control all of the attacking side, but we'll see if that even comes up clutch here.
Double Eternal Bond out, one for each team. It's going to help out well. Cinematic view. We have a shields getting pushed away from the hands of who knows what. I think maybe Apex Predator. Wosh brings out Monster Hulk, and Nev is there. Clobbering time in return. No stuns available though. Pars falls. That's going to go for OPWL. Agamotto into the back line, solidifies Rexy. They're gone, and it's a little late. Kumiho has finally been unleashed, and with the Eternal Bond directly on top, it provides a quite literal red carpet for JFT. They get themselves the P3. They've gotten rid of a lot of the back line. That's Fix and Nev gone. One's a flyer. They can't touch right away. Pars brings down Apex Predator, and that's going to help. Brings 4 people back to the spawns, and unfortunately, Pars does it in vain. Nev swaps to the Captain America, and that will help get the speed back on, but fortunately, it's just too late. 3 points for JFT.
Yep, JFT, they did exactly what I said. Ult dump and win the fight. Quick as you like it. They had a lot of time to do that as well, DXA. They were able to counter what JFT were throwing at them a little bit. That was a good Meteor M by Gak to shut down Slippery's Eternal Bond. But unfortunately, there was just too much time for JFT to work with, and that just allowed JFT to get those ultimates ready to go and then go for the final ultimate dump. And that's where JFT have gotten that edge here. Now we flip over to the defensive side. Can DXA force overtime here? Because quite frankly, JFT looking like they are the better team right now.
Yeah, JFT have really stepped it up, and I know I've said that a litany of times so far for this set, but it feels like each time I say it, they've unlocked a new benchmark thereafter. Peter the Panther especially too. Disappointing game 1, gets the Elsa back, and he's been looking golden ever since.
Oh, too bad. Was hoping you'd be on
And
the other
Joji,
side.
yeah, dude, he has been cooking on the Wolverine.
Yeah.
He doesn't get the Daredevil, that's fine. He get go for the Wolverine as
And
well.
a
Now,
buff.
yeah, he's even got this. He's even got the rocket super jump. So if Joji is able to land onto someone with the Pharaoh leap, he can just send them straight to the sky. I like to call it Wolverine Airlines because he just goes way too high up and just keeps someone out of the fight and potentially even go for an isolated KO.
Cheaper
Now,
than
how does DXA decide to roll out here? They're gonna take over as much as main as possible. Nev on the Hulk is gonna give them the space that they need in order to just poke and prod until either they find an elimination in the neutral or the ultimate comes up, and then that's when DXA strike.
Important note, defense here, JFT, most certainly not double-double like DXA had brought out. 2 duelists to work off of. 2 strategists, it's 2-2-2 across the board. Wosh and OPWL, they might be the weak spot. Are they going to be enough to hold the front line?
I mean, if Wosh is able to disrupt as much of that backline as possible, Joji goes up into... No, it's actually Tashi going up to this guy with Wolverine Airlines, trying to find the isolated KO, but they're not able to do so. OPWL on the Groot just cooks down Gact, who just doesn't have the resource to keep himself sustained. And now JFT pushing on forward. There's Wolverine Airlines from Joji. He trades his life to take down Nev, but I think that's a hashtag worth for Nev, actually, because he's on the attacker side, so his respawn is going to be a little bit closer.
Hey, as long as I get a biscuit and free coffee, I'm happy to go on that airline any day of the week, man. Still, though, not a single point has gone in DXA's favor. They have even barely touched the point up until now. Eternal Bond is out. That's going to create a litany of distance. Gamma Shield underway to help out Rexy, but unfortunately, the Evil Hulk was also there for the exile, shutting down the Eternal Bond in its tracks. A secondary one comes out from Winter's favor. Fate of both worlds has been brought down in response. Unfortunately, Slippery, not yet on the Eternal Bond, will have to come out as soon as Fixes falls. That's going to give a big advantage to DXA. As I say that though, Slippery, now with an Eternal Bond, is there for a big macro level advantage.
Oh!
Heals across the board. Joji for a double. That's going to be so many power players gone. And no, Gact?
He's gonna get staggered.
All right there.
He's just gonna get staggered.
Yeah,
Tashi's
that's
trying
really
to make sure he
unlucky.
runs away, but it's gonna be a little bit of a cat fight with Joji and Tashi just swinging at each other, claws amok. But unfortunately, oh wow, what an ultimate coming from Joji, catching down 2. That Eternal Bond really could have swung the tide for JFT, but yep, Joji instead was the one to come out on top. And okay, well, we got a Wolverine 1v1. There was some assists coming in from the Hulk to try to bubble down Joji, but unfortunately it just wasn't enough. And we keep fighting on. DXA have the man advantage. Wosh gets dangerously low, but is able to get big just in time.
OPWL was forced into a corner, fought back, takes down Tashi. Walls are up, tries to get back onto the platform, denying DXA the chance to get that 3rd tick. Portal's out. Blocked by a tree, blocked by a portal, blocked by a shield, blocked by blocking anything you can. With the fortifications had finally come back up, all you need now is a moat.
He's just standing there menacingly, trying to force away DXA. Hey, don't get onto the site. Yeah, we don't want you here, but DXA find the Joji in the end, who does swap over to the Wolverine again, so hopefully the defending side are able to stall just in time, but no! They're not able to do so. Rexy is there to make sure that the point is secured, and now DXA move on forward.
Oh my god, DXA littering the KO feed. Destroying JFT, forcing a reset. That was all Tashi and Pars.
And that's a great look for DXA, finally pushing on through. Winter and OPWL on the side of JFT do have ultimates at the ready. Slippery is there for an extra precautionary measure. Nev getting closer and closer to the Strangling Prison, maybe to try to combo it with Tashi on the last stand. But that's all wishful thinking. It's all theory at this point, but can they put it into practice? As Tashi finds 2, Gokt even capitalizing with another, and DXA will push forward.
I don't know what clicked for DXA. This attacking side is making them look fantastic.
Goodbye, Whoosh. He's gonna get staggered out even more on Puny Banner, so JFT, if they want to go for a retake, they're gonna have to do it down a man. As Pars pushes on forward, the Strangling Prison is outside of the Eternal Bond. That is disastrous for JFT.
Oh, but Pars
no!
keeps it going. Oh no! Eternal Bond is out. Damage amplification helps out here.
That second.
The second point.
Oh my god, this is... That was crazy from DXA. Huge ultimate coming in from Nev to get everyone of JFT pinned up outside of the healing carpet that Slippery tried to provide, and with him going down 2, just insult to injury. Even the Eternal Bond getting shut down. Tashi is hiding down in the low ground. No one is being detected just yet, but JFT though, they're gonna have to find something here. Winter is surely gonna copy Slippery's ultimate, but Gact is gonna have to come up huge with the Meteor M.
And Gact has been out of sync from Slippery and Winter when it comes to these ults being brought out. Every time he's been eliminated, it feels like those ults have come out in return. Gact has been saving this Meteor M for the longest time just for this moment. And Peter the Panther, I see that runway. Perfect for the Glartrox! It's brought out in return! It's a giant battle of monsters and through it all, the wall from the Groot saves them, but could it be in vain? No, maybe not. It helps out so well, and once again, JFT, they have found their footing, they get back on, and Pars keeps the Glartrox.
Yep, Pars will hold on to the Glartrox. Rexy, though, will allow DXA to get the space that they need in order to try to contest the fight. But if Wosh on the Angela is able to find someone to pin them down to the abyss, maybe he finds Rexy, that would be insanely valuable if they're able to get that down, but it's going to be very difficult. What a leap coming in from Tashi.
That was unbelievable. Pars hanging around the Wolverine, helping out too. looking to proc up an opportunity. What seems like, again, a very aggressive Apex Predator should be coming out momentarily, but look at JFT. 5 ults at their disposal. Peter the Panther close to getting another Apex Predator from the time Pars has even used 1. It's going to be a nuclear war, Dan. We have to see how it plays out. What will the fallout look like? Meteor and Eternal Bond. Any which way you go, we fall to the face. Oh, that's got to hurt. But Peter's ready.
That's gonna hurt, yeah.
And Nev keeps going. Strangling imprisonment. That will be good. Winter's there for the Eternal Bond, and Slippery is racking up as fast as humanly possible. They get the follow-up there, too. Winter, Joji, Peter the Panther, all there for a 1-2 knock him down.
And now we cross into final fight territory. 43 seconds and counting down for DXA. They need to get a move on here. But with less ultimates than they started with from the past fight means that JFT have a lot of leverage to work with. And if they're able to find the elimination onto Woj, that would be insane. But a great Loki regen domain keeps him alive, and he's able to disrupt the team even further.
Let's see, though. Pars down below.
Great
Joji,
leap.
environmental KO. That's Nav gone. Don't have to worry about him. A sacrifice made. Apex Predator soloing Joji. Everybody else is falling. What is happening over there with the Cloak and Dagger?
I'm not entirely sure. Nev is gonna respawn and charge up the portal. 2 seconds left. Overtime will surely be triggered. Nev is surely going to use the portal to cut off the main area from JFT's POV, so that everyone on DXA are able to keep the push going and get even more space. And now they get to breathe a little bit because they're able to take control of the throne room to get a little more open space. They don't have to worry about the environmental.
Last chance, Dan. Their last chance to take it back, bring things to overtime. Meteor M to the face. No, it misses completely. All the Coyote has to do is make it a few more meters to confirm for overtime. But so far, these defenders, JFT, elevated, they have done so well, holding the line, but slowly but surely, it is trickling out. The yellow beam once again, that overtime bar slowly going down. That's Pars, and now to take down 2,
my.
with that 3, half the team of JFT are gone. 3 meters, 4, 0 to go. That's overtime.
We're going to overtime. JFT, though, have a lot of time to work with. Compared to DXA, they have 3 whole minutes to get as far as possible. But a great push, though. I gotta give credit to DXA for getting the ult dumps perfectly. It's really been ult dump after ult dump, but that has been the difference throughout these entire fights. DXA were just able to come out on top just by a little bit off of some really clutch plays. Nev with the Strangling Prison back in point number 2 just came up absolutely insane, and that was where the momentum came in. JFT did have a chance to stabilize for a little bit with some great Feral Leaps coming in from Joji. Peter the Panther also coming up huge with Glartrox a few times. But it really just came down to the micro. Both teams were showing that they have the clutch factor, but it's just going to come into overtime. Who comes out with the better clutch than the other?
Oh, DXA has to make it work, Dan, because 1 minute on the clock compared to the 3 minutes, 8 seconds that JFT has. JFT has the room to make mistakes and reset themselves. DXA, no sir.
Nope, no chance, no sir. In terms of the push, they have to push, and they have to push perfectly. Only 60 seconds. And if that overtime meter does come up, it stays up. There is no way to refresh that time bank here in overtime.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3.
Now the countdown comes in. OPWL is setting up the Ironwood Wall to make sure he doesn't get crowd controlled by any sort of Feral Leaps or even any sort of Glartroxes as well. So how does DXA play this out? They're not even going to commit the portal just yet. Trying to use it for final fight territory, it seems like, as DXA march on forward. And maybe they get ultimates down, but they're going to have to find something in the neutral. It's going to be a little bit difficult to do that, I feel like, here in overtime.
And you really can't play neutral here with 30 seconds left. Half of the time you had for overtime was just getting onto the point. Now you have to do the real hard part, fighting it. That's going to be a big Feral Leap high up into the sky up against Woj. Unfortunately, Puny Banner's out, and he's not long for this world. That is Gag taking him down. Your Vanguard defensively is gone. DXA making this work slowly but surely. Even with the loss of this Wolverine, there's still enough distance to maybe win that battle of attrition. Winter's at 75%. You know for sure that they're going to go for the Eternal Bond as soon as they humanly can. Joji takes down Nev. You're right, another Vanguard is gone. And through it all, that yellow beam again. Keep an eye on it. Tashi swaps to the Star-Lord. Needs to rack up Galactic Legend as soon as humanly possible. Can't do that when you're KO'd though. Peter the Panther finds the strike yet again. Hanging down below, portals out, far too late. DXA find nothing in their overtime attack.
Either you win out in the neutral or you try to get your ultimate as soon as possible. DXA just couldn't get any of that to work, it felt like. They do find a pick onto Wosh, onto the Hulk, which was a huge advantage for DXA just for a tiny bit, but then JFT just came up huge in the neutral. And with the ultimate from Slippery being online and ready to go faster than anyone else on DXA just meant that the Eternal Bond kind of just sealed the deal. If that fight got extended any further, it was just all JFT in terms of winning out on that fight. And now JFT, their work is pretty much cut out for them. They just have to get to a third of the mission area, and that's it. JFT will win out here in map 3.
You have to think that DXA now may have to start facing the music. The fact that they have 3 minutes on the clock against them, they have to win that battle of attrition. And we know JFT love to play patient even when times are tough. Like to hold on to their ultimates. Who's to say they won't go for a 5-6-man ultimate again, dumb, and just win the match?
But it's going to come down to here in overtime. DXA need to play this perfectly. Because JFT, 3 minutes on the timer. That is a lot of time to get a third of the site. But then again, this is also Central Park. We've seen full hold into full hold. And resulting it into a draw. But OPWL and the rest of JFT, they want to end this quick and fast.
They don't have to worry about an Atom anymore for this defensive side. They're not even a rocket for the BRB beacon. It's almost like Tashi knew. Tried to go for an early kidnap directly into the portal. Back lines elevated. Behind the scenes looking for a way to sever out and swap the roles of DXA, making them in the attacker spot, and that's not a comfortable spot to be in. Early on though, Gamma Shield for the full team, trying to create that distance. Pigeonholed into a box. JFT have nowhere to go. Cars up above. Can they win this 1v1? They can! Peter the Panther falls. Wolverine Airlines, Tashi sends them away, saying goodbye to OPWL. I think that forces a reset.
Yeah, that's going to have to be a reset moment here for
they're so
JFT.
staggered.
They're trying to hold. A Slippery is going to go down to try to get the reset going. And JFT, they're getting so staggered. That is a lot of time wasted. 1 minute already down, 2 more to go.
And that build-up for the ultimates, the 6-person nuclear dump that we see normally for them is not going to be available yet. They'll have to wait another minute at most and hope for the best. The final minute of OT helps for them.
There's no way this ends in a draw.
I hope
There's
not.
no way. There's no way we need a map for it.
For DXA?
That would be insane if DXA are able to hold for 3 minutes straight, but Winter wants to change that with a great Eternal Bond, and then the Groot Ultimate is going to try to stabilize DXA, but we'll see how that team fight decides to roll out here.
Beginning of the end, Joji's good for 2, another falls on DXA's side, and there it is, a single tick. That's all it took, was one ultimate to lead the way in, and JFT win it 4-3.
Hey, if they lost the first fight, you just try again. With a lot of time left in the bank, they only use half of it, and that's enough. That'll be a huge win. In the end, yeah.
Wonderful work overall. I mean, it felt like there was a lot of individual prowess when it came to the first 2 matches, especially that last win from JFT's side, but the fact of the matter is that this was a cohesive team through and through all of Central Park, and if this is again how they want to start off group stage, you know, besides yesterday, I think this is looking pretty good for them.
I mean, it was a close loss against Kanga on day 1, right? Now coming into day 2, it got a little close against DXA, but JFT now finally are able to claim a win here in OCE preseason. Albeit it was another 3-map banger, but JFT were the ones to win it out here. And already, this is what we expected, right? Coming out of MRC Season 6 as the 3rd seed means that they're going to have to, at the very least, try to go toe-to-toe with some of OCE's best, and they do just that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot more expectations on JFT too. They were the third place team. They lost out the Triple AD and Pirates when it came to their MRC run. They're the team that people don't. They're the cutoff team that people talk about a lot when it comes to Asia. They need to show that they can be up to the snuff to everybody else. But if JFT can continue to keep playing like this, they are looking good.
I would hope so, because again, they're one of the higher seeded teams coming out of MRC coming into Ignite. And this is, yeah, great look, honestly. Everyone on JFT are looking so good. Joji on the Wolverine, putting on those melee DPS or duelist characters as well, just doing so well on the Wolverine and the Daredevil. Peter the Panther piloting the Elsa Bloodstone. We'll see what he decides to go for if the Elsa Bloodstone ever gets banned out. But so far, in terms of the pattern that we've been seeing here, only in this first best of 3 of day 2, I feel like this Elsa Bloodstone is going to get put through a lot
of value.
more and more. Yeah, it's just so much more value.
I think so too, and it really goes to show the confidence of these teams too, that you can ban out, say, the Daredevil and try to hemorrhage either Tashi or Joji, but the fact that they would still have that safety pick for the Wolverine goes to show that there is a contingency plan in case that doesn't work. For JFT's case specifically, I'm a little bit more worried for Peter the Panther if they can't play Elsa. I just can't stop thinking about the triple hit scan run that we saw from them back on Burn and T'Challa. That did not work for them at all.
I mean, Peter the Panther is one of the greatest duelists, or hit scan duelists inside of OCE, because holy crap, this guy can aim and he will fry in the entire lobby if he's given the resources to do so. I've seen him pop off on Hela, I've seen him pop off on Phoenix, but if he's given the Elsa Bloodstone, yeah, you just gotta take it, man.
Yeah, dude. Like, I mean, it's the same thing that people say about Gambit. Like, if there's a Gambit available, somehow it works. You gotta play it. There's no alternatives, and yeah, makes perfect sense.
And now it looks like we are getting word that we are gonna get an interview on the side of JFT. It's gonna be Slippery, so we're gonna get him on the phone in just a few moments. I can't wait to pick his brain and see how JFT have been cooking throughout the entirety of Ignite, because this is very different from what you're used to back in MRC.
That's right, and look, as a strategist backline too, you have a bigger, wider macro view of what's happening. You have to keep an eye on who has what ultimates and when you can have to bring out, especially in Slippery's case, the Eternal Bond so many different times. It's going to be important, but here we go. Slippery on the line. How are you, my friend?
Hey guys, how's it going? I mean, yeah, ecstatic.
Not too bad.
Ecstatic is all we can say.
Yeah, that sounds amazing, man. So, first of all, congratulations. You all played amazingly. And we were just saying before we got on the line with you that you specifically are going to have such a wider view of what's going on in the matchup. You have to keep track of so many abilities and ultimate cooldowns. Does the perspective of a match that's so intense like this change for you after a loss into a win?
To be honest, I think when you're playing support and you can see everyone, when you come from a loss, the nerves kind of die down a bit, and I don't think you're that nervous to win anymore. You're more confident to press your Q button, I think. In our case, in those games, it felt a lot easier. But coming off domination map, we played a comp we've never played before, so it was a bit nerve-wracking. But we definitely eased into it. It got a lot easier.
I do want to ask also as well, right? You came in from MRC Season 6 as the 3rd seed. You're a little bit more used to the MRC ban draft sort of procedure, but now you're coming into Ignite. It's a little bit different here. How have you guys been preparing for that kind of ban draft?
I mean, look, MRI bans are they're stupid. It's there's a big 3 when it comes to MRI bans, and it's Elsa, Gambit, and Mantis. And everyone in Oceania seems to be a Mantis crutch. It's so disgusting to play against because we're just not a Mantis crutch. And so it's the bans kind of get a little bit difficult for us, but I think we sort of persevered through them. I think it's gone good.
So if you think a lot of other teams crutch Mantis, what is your plan for damage amplification? Do you rely on that?
I mean, it just comes down to ult cycling. And we have Peter the Panther and Elsa, so whenever they support ult, we just rely on Peter to hit a 6-man nuke. And then we have Joji on Wolverine, so then whenever he 6-man nukes, it's just hopefully everyone dies no matter what support ult they have. But like, we just hate the comp, man. We just hate it.
Right, yeah, that sounds about right. Great offense is a great offense. You know, if you're able to shut down those defensive options, then you just straight up win outright. But one more thing before we let you go. Is there anything you want to say out to the world? This is your first win here in OCE preseason. This is probably one of your best chances to show the world, or at least tell the world what you guys are made of right now. So, stage is yours, my friend. You can go
Yeah,
crazy.
man. I mean, look, like, if you guys watched yesterday, we were a little bit sad because we went into Kanga underdogs and then we full held them on the third map, and then like we obviously lost and we never expected to lose. I mean, we got to the final point, we were so happy to win. But I think like that's technically our first official together. We're pretty new to the scene and we're already growing to compete with some of the best players in the region. It's like JFT, like the team we have, I mean, I wouldn't even call them like teammates, they're all our friends. We're all like really friendly together. Really good community we have together. And like, yeah, I mean, the team's really good. Also, shout out Genzo, and shout out Random Kid, and shout out Minion.
All right,
Those three have got us through.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you have them on their side. Slippery, thank you so much. JFT was an absolute joy to watch. I'm sure this won't be the last time we interview you either. You guys are looking strong, and we're very excited to see what the future looks like for you and your team.
Thank you guys, appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.